Okay, it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning as I'm filming this, but it's important. So, as I always say, please stay and hear me out.
Hey guys and girls, it's your friend the unapologetic atheist here again with another video. I don't know if you guys remember China Anne McClain. She was very big in like the 2000s, mid 2010s. So I grew up like a Disney kid, so I watched all the Disney shows, and one of the shows that I watched was Ant Farm, and China was the lead actress on that show. And I haven't watched it for a couple years, and I never really pay attention to her career after that. But I was on TikTok the other day, and I seen a couple of her new videos, and they just caught my attention. I was like, "Ooh, I gotta see what she's talking about," and I just want to show you guys what I found. So let's tune in.
Had a long conversation with family. There were some really powerful things that were talked about and that were said. And they have stayed with me. And I can't sleep. And I think it's because I'm supposed to shoot this and share these things with you guys. I have recently a lot, especially on TikTok. Whenever I mention God, I hear kids like, I need more proof. Like,
I don't know how many of you caught that the way she just fixed her hoodie, but for those in the know, in the Bible, it tells us that women are supposed to always have their heads covered. So they're not supposed to be in the church with their hair out or without a covering. So if you notice these little things that she's doing, these are just like more confirmations, and affirmations of the church and the fact that they have you in this cult state where everything, even if no one's around you, you still feel like you have to do these things. So let's keep watching.
you can't just expect people to believe something for no reason. Like, where's the proof? Like, you're going to ignore scientific evidence and all of these things that go against God being real. And I don't really know where that came from. I don't know who told them that science has disproved God's existence, but that's not the truth. Scientists may tell you that God is not real, but science doesn't tell us that.
So when people say science disproves God, to me, at least what they're saying is based on the scientific research that we have now and based on everything told in the Bible from the Old Testament to the New Testament. According to what we have now, these things cannot correlate. So when we say science disproves God, what we're really saying is science disproves the Bible, right? So we don't know if there's no God out there, but we do know that the God in the Bible and that the God that everybody is spouting that we have to fall in worship is not scientifically true. Let's keep watching.
Science actually tells us the opposite, lines up with the existence of a creator, a being higher than us that created these things around us. And
The funniest things about apologetics is their use of science, right? Because they'll always say that science is this, science is that, but they will, one, never provide the actual proof, or if they provide something, it's a circular reasoning, that goes back to the Bible that has no actual peer reviews or anything of that status. So when she's saying, science proves God, how do you mean exactly? But luckily for us, she goes more into depth in this video. So let's keep going.
I gave an example that I'm going to share with you all, and I need you to bear with me. I'm going to tell you a little secret. This building that I'm in right now, before I go home, I spoke to the owner of it, and he told me something that he told me not to share, but I'm going to anyway with you guys. He informed me that this building that I'm in right now built itself. Now, I know it sounds crazy, but it's the truth and you should believe it. They left the land alone for like over 100 years. Came back to a whole building built, but no one built it.
All right, now we've gotten to the meat of her argument. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with her argument and didn't really catch it just now, let me break it down for you. What she is using right now is called the argument from intelligent design, or the teleological argument, which basically goes, if a building has a builder, a watch has a watchmaker, then the world must have a world maker. And everything in it, the creations must have a creator, right? But for that argument to work, we would have to first accept that we were created. And so far, there has been no proof that we were created, but rather that we evolved through a process of natural selection and mutations. So before you can make your argument that the creation needs a creator because a building needs a builder, you first have to prove that there is a creation. I don't have to prove that there is a building. You can see the building. But based on scientific research, we know that we were not created, but rather we evolved, just like every other animal on this planet. Let's keep listening to what she has to say.
Do you believe me? You don't? Why? Have you ever met the builder of this building? Have you ever seen the builder of this building with your eyes? Do you know their name? Have you ever come in contact, even somebody you know that's met the builder of the building I'm in right now? Do you even know what building I'm in right now? What state I'm in? Where I'm at? None of those things. You don't know any of those things, yet you believe that someone built this building. Why? Is it because the building exists and you know buildings don't build themselves?
So she asks a very important question here, right? Why do I believe that she's in the building and that somebody built that building, even though myself and nor anybody I know have ever met the person who's built that building? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Because we have a multitude of buildings, right? We know buildings don't just come out of nowhere because we can see somebody create it, come up with the idea, draw the blueprints, and put the concrete into the actual floor to create the building, right? But with God creating the earth, we only have one earth. How can we tell that this God created everything specifically for us just the way it was written because it's in a book, right? I don't need faith to believe that the building has a builder because every building that we look at, we can see the process of it actually getting built. The same way we can see the process of evolution at work in our daily life, in ourselves, and in other animals. So it's not asking us to take a leap of faith to believe in a builder. It is to asking us to take a leap of faith to believe in a God.
That's enough proof for you to believe that someone built this building? You're right. It's logical thinking that buildings don't build themselves. And for this building to exist, someone or something had to build it, whether it was man, woman, child, machine, or something else. Someone built this building. If we came across a bunch of abandoned paintings at a junkyard somewhere, what's the first question we would ask ourselves? Be like, who painted these paintings? we wouldn't ask ourselves, I wonder if someone or something painted these paintings. No, the paintings are there. That wouldn't even cross our mind. The first thing our mind would jump to is who painted the paintings, because paintings don't paint themselves. So if a building is proof of a builder and a painting is proof of a painter, and them existing, their existence is all the proof you need to know that there was a builder and a painter, why is creation not proof of a creator for a lot of people in their minds? Why does that not click in the same way?
Like we've already discussed earlier in this video, the reason why creation, me needing a creator, doesn't reside with most of us is because we do not accept the fact that we were created to begin with. So for your B to be true, your A needs to be true also. And if we reject your first argument, then everything is falling down. So your first argument makes no sense, so you can't just jump into your second argument, right? And the biggest problem with creation or this intelligent design, it tells us that God created everything with a specific purpose and a very reason ever since, we were in the womb and before we was born. And if that was the case, why do so many of our body parts just stop working? Like, they just literally stop. We have cancer cells that grow inside of us. Like, most of our body, like our eyes, the human eyes, right? The ones that God created for us, He created with a blind spot. Not all animals have blind spots, but we do. Why is that if He created us so perfectly? Let's keep watching to see what she has to say.
Why is the existence of water and trees and birds and lions and tigers and bears and us humans, why is the existence of us not proof enough when we cannot create any of these things? Doesn't matter how many genius scientists you put in one room and you say, hey, we'll give you as long as you need. We need you to create one drop of water, just one. No, you can't get water that already exists and then, work from there, work on that foundation. No, go from zero, nothing, to one drop of water. How long you need? You could leave those scientists to theorize and experiment until they all die. You get a new generation in there to continue their work. It's not going to matter. You're going to come back to a bunch of failed experiments, theories, and no water. Because we're not creators. We don't create things.
One of the weirdest things that Christians do that I've never gotten a real explanation for is how they attribute everything good and beautiful, like the trees, babies, and everything she just mentioned, to God, but always fail to mention everything else, like hurricanes, earthquakes, tornadoes, volcano eruptions. Like, all these now all part of God, right? Since He created everything, why is He creating an earth that is always trying to kill us? Isn't this where He want us? Like, He created this place for us. Why is this place always attacking us? And she mentions that you can place a bunch of scientists in a lab and give them unlimited funding and they wouldn't be able to come up with water. This is why staying in school is very important, because everybody in school learns that the basic elements for water is H2O. And you can Google this yourself. This literally took me 30 seconds. And you will see that you can create water. All you do need is the H2O and energy. The problem is when you combine hydrogen, oxygen, and energy, it's very flammable. So yes, you will create water, but you will also create an explosion. So we might not be creators in the traditional term, but once we can learn how to, understand the sciences and understand the world, we can become, whatever we want, because then at this point we can create stuff. And the fact that, we can't create life yet is just, saying that we have a lot more to learn. Not that it's impossible. We just haven't learned it yet. Let's keep seeing what she has to say.
We can't give life. I've heard some kids say, well, my parents created me. My mom created me. And they did the act that, yeah, they had sex, which made your mom pregnant. But when I get pregnant, am I putting my little baby's bones together in my stomach? Am I forming their toes and their fingers and creating their brains and giving them eyeballs over these 9 months that I'm carrying them? Am I doing all of that? Surely not. Surely not, because I couldn't. It's more about what I don't do to mess up the process that matters. Don't smoke, don't drink, don't do drugs, Don't do things that's going to endanger the life that is developing inside of me. And the development of life is exactly the most important part of the conversation that I'm having with you guys tonight.
So here she's referring to, I think, at least, where in Jeremiah it talks about in the Bible how, before you're even born, God knows you, he forms you in the womb. This is back to the fact that, they believe God created everyone, right? So that's all well and everything, when the baby comes out, like she says, you don't do all the things that, you don't smoke, you don't drink, you don't do all of that stuff. You take care of the baby and everything, and the baby comes out normal. And so, you praise God, God protected the child. But what happens if you do all of that? You don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't do drugs, and your baby comes out deformed, it comes out premature or something, a birth defect. Where was God in that situation? Is God not protecting that baby, or is like only certain babies matter? So what happens when you try to put God as the answer to everything? When things like this happen, a miscarriage or something bad happens to the mother in giving birth, where is God in that situation? Is it his will that, that baby wasn't born? Is that the better way to go for that child? That is what they would have you believe. And quite frankly, that is not the truth. So I'm gonna end the video here. She keeps going. Let me know if you guys want me to keep reacting to more of her stuff, because she does have a lot of things that she say that get even more wilder, I hate to say. So let me know if you guys did enjoy this. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. This has been your man, the Unapologetic Atheist, out.